Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here, giving you breaking daily updates related to the Sebastian Rogers case. This is going to blow your mind, guys. I've been personally covering the case of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, came out and told their stories in this interview about what transpired related to the disappearance of their 15-year-old son. Katie, Sebastian's mother, describes the day before he disappeared, Sunday, February 25th. They went to BJ's, he got a colossal popcorn, he was just a very happy, jovial young man, and they came home, put some snacks away, and then they went to a local bowling alley, and next to the bowling alley was a steakhouse where they ate. After they ate, they loaded up and went home. He took out the garbage, and the rest is history. He goes to bed at 9 p.m. Mom goes to bed at midnight. She awakes at 6 a.m. to wake Sebastian up as she normally does, and he's gone. Christopher Proudfoot states that he was not even in the area at the time that Sebastian left the home, that he was many miles away as he was working in Memphis and staying in his camper in Mississippi. A lot of people watching this case unfold became very, very skeptical of both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot's story about what happened leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. Many people noticed the deep abrasion scratches in some areas looking like bite marks on Christopher Proudfoot's arms some 8 days after Sebastian disappeared. Seth Rogers, which is Sebastian's biological father, decided to start doing some ground searches and raised money on a GoFundMe page to aid those efforts. Christopher Proudfoot threatened Sebastian's father in a lawsuit related to the GoFundMe page, and also the fact that Seth appeared to make the family, the other side of the family, look bad. Many people went out searching for Sebastian Rogers, and the one thing that was missing out of all the efforts volunteers put forth was Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. And when people asked them why they weren't out searching for their very son that went missing from their home, they told people that it was because law enforcement told them to stay home. However, that very evening, they were seen at a barbecue joint outside of the home enjoying a dinner. Meanwhile, never once searching for their very son that they say they care about and want to come home. Media was in an uproar, demanding answers from both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot why they're not helping with any searches for their son. And what was their response? They got in their camper, packed it up, and took off. Sebastian's mom and stepfather took off to a campground in Mississippi, where they returned home for a short while and then returned back to this campground. Right now, it appears that the camper is still at this mobile home park or RV park with Chris's truck, but we have confirmed Chris is not staying there and has installed a camera on the camper. There are so many people curious as to why there's a camera on this camper, but not on their home before Sebastian Rogers walked out that door. The sheriff was very cordial at the beginning of this search for Sebastian when he truly believed both Katie and Chris Proudfoot were deemed innocent and had no culpability in the disappearance of their son. If you look at the newest interview Nick Barris has with this very sheriff, you see a much different demeanor. Does this case anger me? You darn right. Does it make me want to almost lose my mind? You darn tootin'. Chris and Katie have a lot of explaining to do, because what I just laid out for you is only a minor, small amount of the case against them. Good morning and happy Saturday to my beautiful coffee club family, i.e. my residents of the local insane, or should I say internet, insane asylum.
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
What are we doing over here? What are we doing? I don't know what Bullhorn Betty's doing.
Shut up.
Fine. Fine. You guys win. You guys win. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you this beautiful Saturday. I'm sure you probably noticed I'm coming live much earlier than I normally do. We usually start at 10 a.m., but I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got plans. Yes, usually Saturdays after our 10 a.m., I go take Delilah out for a play date over at my BFF's. She's got 4 dogs, and they just absolutely play and run each other ragged. And it's always so nice because she comes back really exhausted and just all of her energy is out of her. But today we have a special day. She's actually got 2 play dates today. She gets to go over and see her cousin Binks, and Binks and her like to roughhouse a lot. So Mama Bullhorn so Uncle Binks is going to take care of Delilah while me and Mama go out for lunch. So it's going to be a nice day, but she's got 2 play dates today. So I figured we'd start a little early, get going. Guys, don't forget to take the poll. I try to be as sensitive on the topic as possible, but I need to gauge the audience. It's been a while since we gauged the audience on this type of poll before. So please, please, please do the poll. We're going to have a lower volume show today because I'm earlier than I normally am. And most people are going to be watching the replay, and they're not going to have the ability to take the poll on the replay. So very, very interested in the people that are here and coming here, what your thoughts are related to this particular case. Honesty, obviously, is the best policy because we're just trying to gauge the audience. We're trying to gauge the people that are watching the Bullhorn Betty channel. It also helps us gauge how many trolls watch us every day. So hello, my trolls. It's nice to see you. I do have a fan club out there. They just don't realize they're my fans yet. They spend more time watching me than the creators that they allegedly like. So either way, it's nice to see you. Happy Saturday. Good morning. Good morning, bedheads. Delilah's also a bedhead. She's not quite waking up yet. She's already went out and played today. So now she's ready to kind of chill while we go through this. So I'm going to try to make this a little quick because she's going to start jumping on my shoulder after it looks like about 2 hours is when she starts getting a little rambunctious. So I try to limit the lives. Now tomorrow, folks, we're going to be starting at 12:30 tomorrow. That's after our church. That's after church. If you guys would like to be here, I'm just going to say saddle up. You guys come for whatever you guys can watch, but it's going to be a very long day tomorrow. We're going to be going over a 3-hour interview that Terry Lynn had with Christopher Proudfoot, and it's going to be extensive. It's hard to try to split it up between 2 shows because we lose track of what happened the day before. So I find that just having just sitting down and going through it in one fail swoop, we'll take breaks. So I think like every hour and a half, I'll keep my timer on. So we'll just take a remission and or intermission and get drinks, use the restroom, get a bite to eat, like every hour and a half, 2 hours ish. So if you guys would like to come over for that, it's an interview that really hasn't been overly scrutinized yet. And I really would like to look at it. Now, I've also been watching some of the interviews with Seth. This is something that we don't really do very much because we know he's not a party in this disappearance. He's a father that's been fighting for his son and fighting very, very hard. He has been the biggest rooter of the sidelines, according to his mother and stepfather. And he definitely supersedes that in his determination and tenacity to find his son. So we don't really look at him too much because we know he's not guilty of this incident. But you know what I'm finding out? Because I just heard some clips and I can't remember who did it. Maybe it was War Damn Eagle. It might have been 5D. By the way, 5D, thank you so much for that beautiful post you did. I do appreciate it. I am actually a pretty decent person in real life. It's just that, you know, having to be, you know, such the thick skin that I have to have on these platforms. Sometimes I'm unrecognizable even to me, and that's not really fair, but it is what it is. It's the name of the game. And, you either get pushed around or you don't. And so I've got my feet bolted into the ground and standing vertically, and always keeping this head held high. So it's quite the craziness here, but I do appreciate all the love and support and the people that know me and that are here every day and see me for who I am. I do appreciate you guys for all of that. I definitely work very, very hard for these victims. I don't ever expect a thank you or an attaboy or anything. It's just doing my part because it's the right thing to do. And quite frankly, it feels good to do good. And I challenge everybody to do better in their own personal life and people, because you'll get that reward. And it's something you don't need to be thanked about. It's something that you feel good inside. It doesn't really matter. People say thank you. It's just the icing on top, right? But it's the way you feel. It's how you feel. And it's very empowering and very liberating as well. So I always try to give back where I can, when I can. I always try to do the right thing. Do I fall short? Of course I do. I'm a human being, right? I have glaring defects and I'm always a work in progress. So I'm perfectly fine with that. I can tell you who I am today from who I was 20 years ago. I definitely don't need a thank you or an attaboy for that. I feel good to know my walk has come such a long way. And that's very personal to me. And that keeps me going as well. And I want everybody to have, if you've had a rocky walk, just understand you are the person that determines your future. Quit blaming other people, because at the end of the day, you control you and nobody else. So if you're having personal problems in your own life, sit down and work it through. That's what you can do. Life is not easy. It gives you a lot of curveballs. But what I can tell you is that my God has never left my side, even when my faith was shaken. And I can tell you, my mods can tell you, there's been some times that my faith has been shaken, especially through all of this, going on online. But they kept me grounded and kept me focused. So it's, I've never been let down. Even when I think I'm being let down, when you look back on it, everything has always been in control. Everything has always. And so far, I've survived my worst days, right? I'm 45 years old. I've had some pretty rotten, stinky, just crap, right? Just hopeless and helpless and just crap, right? So I've made it through the worst of my worst, right? Is there something even worse than that? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. You know what? And the best part about it, let me say that. The best part about it is I know I will survive that, and so will you, and so will you. So for everybody that's here that has life as problems, give yourself a break, okay? We all have life problems. They all affect us differently, but you will survive. You will get through it. Just keep digging at it, right? Just keep chiseling a little way. Every single day you do one thing to take a problem off your plate. That's just one step toward your goal of peace, right? If it's out of your control, know that it's out of your control. Hand it to God, cut the strings and let it go. Okay? What's in your control, do the best you can. All right, guys, that's enough philosophy from old Bullhorn Betty. Let's get into some real stuff. It's nice to see you all beautiful people up in the house this morning. And I'm surprised that this early in the morning, we've already got almost 300 people in chat. So God bless each and every one of you. What we are going to be doing today is I'm going to read something that I think is super, super important from AtNight Private Intelligence Agency. Oh, good gracious. You people. I'm not calling out any names. So I wanted to go over a post because I think it's very serious. It's something that I saw a couple days ago, and I just kind of like Kelly's batteries. I just stuck them up on the shelf and forgot to say thank you, right? And this is not something I need to say thank you for. This is something that we need to bring awareness to, because we have an unscrupulous PI that's bragging about how all of his searching, he's never been threatened. Well, it's because we were very clear, especially by the time I made it out to Tennessee, my one and only trip out there to search for Sebastian and to do some fact finding. That one time, we know damn well who was threatening me. It was everybody it was Chris himself, along with all his little minions that he's elicited, all his felon minions that he elicited for help to exonerate them or make them look good in the public eye. You are not looking good in the public eye with the trash like that. Sorry. As soon as we saw them over there, we already knew what their fate was going to be. Because no reasonable parent looking for their child would ever associate with people like that. Period. Okay? Period. I can guarantee you we have 302 people. Few of those are hate channels, and they wouldn't even trust the people that they are supporting. If their child was missing, they would know that they would be just completely bulldozed over as being guilty, even whether they're guilty or not, just by their association. Everybody knows that. Everybody. So their association and continued association with this network of people tells us all we really needed to know, and all we really needed to know for a long time. Let's think about the psychology of this. Most people hang out with people of like mind, right? Most people hang out with people of certain net worth, okay? You don't really see P. Diddy prior to his arrest hanging out with the likes of somebody like Bullhorn Betty, right? He doesn't deal with the little people, okay? Why? Because I'm not his people, okay? So higher net worth people are going to be hanging out with higher net worth people. So you've got military trained parents that probably don't do illicit drugs. They probably drink because it's legal. They probably drink a lot. They're in the military. Every military person I know has a drinking problem. I don't, not necessarily a drinking problem, but definitely loves to indulge in the alcohol, okay? In the alcohol. So you got these people that are living in, $1 million, close to $1 million, not quite, $700,000+ home. They have an Infinity. They've got a souped up, double cab, truck that's really, really nice, very, very expensive. They got a very, very expensive fifth wheel. They've got riding lawn mowers, they've got motorcycles. I mean, they've got stuff that, again, many of us would love to have that type of lifestyle for ourselves. You don't see people like that going to Skid Row and hanging out with the people on Skid Row. Yet for this particular case, that's what you got, right? You got these hoity-toity people that are missing their son hanging out with the bottom of the mill people, Skid Row people that can't keep straws out of their damn nose, right? Can't keep their hands from their own children's necks in some cases. So what military trained person that's living a good life would hang out with the likes of those people? People that need favors. That's what I can reasonably deduct from that, right? You go to people that don't mind doing criminal activity and people that are felons for help. The kind of help that you don't get on reputable channels. So we definitely know that there has been a lot of intimidation and a lot of threats wielded by the mom and stepdad and their clan of misfits, including but not limited to this unscrupulous PI that's bragging that he's never been threatened, while you watched me be publicly threatened. Not only threatened, but to be ran over by that Yahoo's very expensive truck. Much like what they tried to do to Nina. All I got to say is if somebody's going to hit me with a truck, they better not miss. Because as soon as I'm fixed up, I'm coming for that ass. I'll tell you that. I'm coming for that ass. I'm coming for that ass. So it was very concerning that these, we've watched all these threats escalate, and they've escalated quite a bit. So this is the newest one, and I didn't learn of this. This was very, very much hush hush from everybody until it was posted. I noticed that there was a lot of silence coming from AtNight. I didn't want to pry or, peek or, try to ruffle the feathers. I know how busy they are. Occasionally I'll reach out if I haven't heard from them and just do a pulse check, are you still kicking type of thing. But other than that, I really don't know what's going on behind the scenes because I'm working, right? And I don't have time. Not only that, I'm the worst communicator. If you don't believe me, ask Tony. He will tell you I'm absolutely, ask Karen, ask Sonia. I'm the worst communicator in the world. If you don't call me, I'm horrible because I get here, like even last night, I was just working and researching and come up for air and it's a freaking 11 o'clock at night. And I'm like, where the flip did the day go? And that's really my days. It's not that I don't want to communicate. It's not that I don't want to have conversations with people. It's the fact that I'm so immersed in all of this stuff, not just this case, but looking for other cases and other stories that might interest my it's literally a 16-hour day. I get up early. I don't go to bed until late. I try to get into, you guys don't even see me in all these chats. Like I try to pop into chats here and there just to tell you guys, hey, right? But other than that, in the time I'm on here, I'm working very hard around the clock, researching everything. You guys send me some that I'm looking into it. Does it need to go further? Do I need to investigate this? Do I need to do that? Does this hold water? Does it not hold water? There's a lot of things going on. But we've watched this escalation of these threats and intimidation. And now it has gotten to a point where people need to be in jail, period. They need to be in jail. And I think we're going to have to start doing a campaign to our federal government and the FBI. I know that the FBI is already involved. I keep wondering when these people are going to get a clue that they're already under a federal investigation for these shenanigans. But I digress. If this isn't even worse than that, what am I talking about? Here is a statement from AtNight, and this kind of really, really got me ticked. Very much so. Ticked. A statement from AtNight Private Intelligence regarding the search for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. AtNight continues to call on the public for tips and information regarding the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, 16 years old. Every lead is valuable, and we strongly encourage anyone with relevant information to come forward. Additionally, the reward will subsequently increase as the 1-year anniversary of Sebastian's disappearance approaches. Security concern and escalating threats. Due to ongoing security threats, AtNight has shifted gears after receiving intelligence about a $100,000 hit allegedly placed on members of the team, including Dog the Bounty Hunter, Nick AtNight, and AtNight representatives. A few nights ago, AtNight reviewed a direct message addressed to the search team. The sender cautioned in part, hit is out, 100K. Following this, attorneys representing AtNight, its clients, and volunteers began receiving threatening emails containing photos of their children and spouses, along with their home addresses and the subject line. These emails were sent to AtNight's legal counsel in Philadelphia, Delaware County, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. In addition to local and state officials in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the FBI Philadelphia was notified. Call for information. If you have details related to this threat or the disappearance of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, please call Sebastian at manhunts.1. That sounds like Jonathan Lee Riches. If you really want my truth about it, I am here in Florida. He is more than welcome to come and sue Bullhorn Betty if he feels that I am defaming him in any way, but after dating him for 2 years and seeing him do this kind of stuff to other people, it makes me feel like this is my ex. It sounds just like my ex, but hey, he's been recruiting people and training people, so who knows? It might be somebody. And of course, his allegiance with the unscrupulous PI hired by the mom and stepfather. If you guys recall, my ex is butthurt because Seth wants nothing to do with him. And he was out there with his homewrecker with Seth at the beginning of this case, one of the first people, and he kind of got booted because of his shenanigans. His constant complaining, his constant need to be, to throw everybody else off the case except him, kind of like a hate channel, right? And then he turned to the hate channel for backup. The same people that tried to destroy him years ago when we first got on the streets. So he has turned into be the same type of people that he hated back when he started. So that is just my opinion, but it surely does sound a lot like something that JLR would do. But that's just my opinion, which I'm entitled to. He's more than welcome to produce receipts if it's not him, but I doubt he will. And don't forget, JLR, I do have a lot of those troll accounts that you used to email me from, don't I? I wonder what's in those. Okay, nice to see everybody. Let's get right on in. There's a guy named Mike Damon. He is a guy that I saw on X first. And then he's somebody that started coming over here to YouTube and started taking his skills and explaining the statement analysis. Now, we also have another statement analysis, the deception detective. And while he is well known on these platforms, Mike Damon is not. And I truly believe that he should be getting more watch time than he currently is. So I figured I would debut some of his content. We're going to do 2 of them. I'm going to be breaking it apart. I'm going to be doing, we're going to be talking throughout the conversations he's having. But this is going to be, it's going to probably take us about an hour to get through both of these videos. We're going to do them in their totality. I want you guys to go over to Mike's page and sub up. He's very bright, very smart, and definitely somebody I like to hear his opinion, especially when it comes to statements, much like the deception detective. However, the deception detective, while I do have high regards and respect for him, he's been doing a lot of different cases, and Mike has been kind of focusing a little more on Sebastian. So I wanted to make sure that we watch him, and I want to advocate for his channel because I want him to get credit for the great work he's doing. And when I saw that his videos were only getting 200 views, certainly the true crime community can do better than that, especially when we have somebody that has the expertise that this man has. All righty. Let's get started. I'm going to go... just be sure if you guys see any type of bullying, any type of threatening, because I know you guys kind of go everywhere, even on the, the not so good channels. If you guys see that or sniff that out, like a behind the scenes chat, let us know. Send any tips and leads over to Manhunt's, the Manhunt's, what is it? Sebastian at manhunts.one. 1 is spelled out, O-N-E. Sebastian at manhunts.one. If you hear or even sniff anything, mods, drop a link, please. Here, I got it right here. I'll just drop the link. This is going to be the first video that we're going to go over, but you guys can get his channel and sub up. He's just shy of 2,000 subs, but it's not really the subs. You don't really care. The subs really don't really, to me, doesn't make a difference, except, just as, you want people subbing up, but it's the views. It's the views that I have a problem with. This is great information, and his views are not doing well, and this information needs to go out. I would rather have legit statement analysis information out as opposed to a bunch of people on panel complaining and moaning and groaning all day. Okay. If they can get tens of thousands of views on that complaint chain, then certainly, good information that we can understand and start learning certainly should be getting the same amount of clicks and views. All right. Thank you, Andrea. I appreciate it. But let's just get started because I'm running out of daylight here and I've got to get moving. Okay, this is the one, and this one's called, let me just back this up a little bit. This just came out, I think, in the last 24 hours. Did Katie Proudfoot said, "I love you back." Interesting, because she never did tell her son she loved her. I've never heard her say that she loved her son, as a matter of fact, or loves her son. I've never heard that out of her mouth. Heck, I don't even know if I have ever heard her in the whole year say how much she misses her son and is worried about his condition or where he's at. I don't think I've ever even heard the lady say she misses her son or loves her son. I've never heard her say in all the interviews that they love their son. Just saying.
To dismiss something as a coincidence or something that people just happen to often say. That's only slang, or that's only figure of speech where somebody coincidentally uses a phrase and you cannot read anything into it, right? Well, that's what some people think. That's what actually a lot of people think. And that's what I'm not sure I ever thought that, because I was always interested in the reasons behind just about anything. And the language that we use, experiential memory, is a very big one. Jeez.
That's about as bad as the fingernails on chalkboards, isn't it?
Experiential memory is what sneaks in to your own statements.
This is an interesting...
Because lying is hard.
This is interesting.
Keeping a script going is difficult in an interview. No matter how well you have crafted your script.
Oh, thank you, Robin. God bless you.
There will always be unexpected situations, unexpected turns in a conversation. And you will always have to get back to the script. Meaning, you know what you're going to say, but you also have to wait for your chance to say it. Because you...
Right? So he's making sense here. So what he's basically saying is lying is difficult. You can be prepared with a script and everything. And I think what you're going to hear, which I've already watched this, so I already know what he's about to say. Hey, Pussy Willow Pendercat, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Good morning, everybody coming in. This is Mike Damon. And I would love for all of you guys to sign up for him. He does also statement analysis. He's been focusing on the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. So I think he has a good understanding about this case and about these statements. And so I really, really appreciate this particular video. Somebody from our audience sent this stuff to me. And so I wanted to present it because this statement analysis is very interesting, especially when he gets past this stuff related to the jail. Oh, thank you, Veronica. True crime, right? Veronica, true crime, even though you say Veronica truly. Love it. Thank you. Thank you.
You cannot go into an interview with the intent to deceive and mislead and just start reading your script. It has to come natural. And
this is where the lies always, especially with interviews, this is why we get those inconsistent statements, is because they're in a live interview. And no matter how they prepare their script, they're never going to be fully prepared for the questions that are going to be asked of them.
We catch people when there's a conflict between experiential memory and a script.
Hey, SRK.
When asked if someone is responsible for abducting Sebastian, if somebody abducted him, what should happen to that person? They go to jail, so I don't, is exactly what Katie Proudfoot stated. Now,
do you guys remember that?
Some of you have asked me.
Do you guys remember that? I don't know which interview he was listening to when he said this, but I know for a fact he's been taking a lot of time and transcribing these things so he gets the most accurate statement from them. So she actually had a slip or leakage, from my understanding.
But she meant to say that so I don't get my hands on them and I'm not going to kill them or something like that. That's what she was going to say. Don't you understand that? She didn't say it. If they don't say it, do not say it for them. You see, instead,
and that's a problem I do have with a lot of initial interviewees. And I think I said this about Duchess. This is because that was the first interview, and it drove me nuts because they would answer the question and give them options to choose from. And that is not getting us to the truth. I think that Duchess is by far one of the worst interviewees that I've ever, or interviewers I've ever seen, among other ones. And it's not me just not liking her or anything. I have no qualms with her. She's got qualms with me. Much different. But you don't, when you ask people, when you're interviewing people, especially parents of a missing child, you want to have open-ended questions unless you want a yes or no from them. And then you ask them a yes or no question. And you shut up. You don't feed them probabilities that they can grab a hold of and say, oh, that's it. You let them speak their own words out of their own mouth. You don't put the words into their mouth. And if you watch that Duchess interview, time and time and time again throughout the entire interview, she would ask them questions and answer the question for them. That's not an interview. That's controlling a narrative and talking points. And that was the very first run. And we needed the information on that interview because that was the first interview. Don't just as a point, don't put words into their mouths. Let them speak. Let them speak. Because that's the only way we get that information that we need. That's why when you see me, when I'm in an interview, I ask my question and I shut my mouth. Sometimes I have to purse my lips together because I want to interrupt and ask a question, but they're talking and I want them to keep talking. So I have to purse my lips together to remind myself, keep your trap shut, lady, right? So I just want to put that out there. Trust me, I'm in my own head when I'm in these interviews. That's why I got to go back and rewatch the interviews because I'm so in my head trying to discuss the case that I have to catch myself because I also want to interrupt and ask questions or expand on something. But that's why I have a sheet of paper next to me to write that down so I don't forget, so I can double back to that. So that is, without a doubt, a great statement. Let them answer. If you are a content creator, please do yourself a favor and do the true crime community a favor and don't give them suggested answers. The worst thing you can do is provide them, A, B, C, or D. Because they're going to pick A, B, C, or D before they tell you the truth. You might find out by pursing your lips together, they may have something other than A, B, C, or D to say. And that's important. Don't you agree? All right, let's get back to it.
Statement analysis, we approach everybody, every person's statement with the expectation that they are going to tell us the truth. And we allow them to talk us out of that. And that's exactly what Katie Proudfoot has been doing again and again and again. She has been talking me out of it. We don't look at the bad guy. We don't look at the good guy. We look at a blank piece of paper that will be filled with words, and we will analyze these words without any preconceived notion, without any feeling of anything towards Chris Proudfoot or Katie Proudfoot. And I'm going to do next one that's going to be very harsh statements from Chris about Sebastian, that I may have to even use a trigger warning cover. I don't know. I can handle reality no matter what it is. As long
I don't really do trigger warnings. My audience does trigger warnings for me. I don't do it because we're in true crime. And let's face it, it's a triggering event. Okay. If you can't handle true crime, you shouldn't be here. And I'm not being offensive or, rude or anything like that. I'm just being very direct. I mean, this is true crime. People are missing or dead. If you can't handle that, you should not be here. And any conversation is going to be related to the missing or the deceased. And again, there's a lot, no matter how you look at our cases, they're very triggering. If you can't handle the truth, please maybe go to a yarning or, arts and crafts type of thing. Maybe true crime isn't for you. I don't really prefer trigger warning. My audience puts the trigger warnings out there. Okay. But this is real life. So if real life is triggering for you, true crime, the true crime community, far from your forte, It is triggering. I can tell you that. It triggers me a lot to think about what people do to other human beings. It's very triggering to me. That's why I do what I do, right? I want to make sure that every piece of garbage is exposed to no end. I want to make sure that people in the community know to stay away from certain people that could be violent. There's a lot that goes into this. So again, I don't do trigger warnings. If the audience feels it's triggering, put the warning in there. If you can't handle life, maybe the true crime genre may not be for you, because to me, all these cases are triggering. All of them. Not one, not two, not some, all of them. And the reason why is because this is real life. This is somebody's life. This is somebody's misery. This is somebody's tragedy.
I can handle reality no matter what it is, as long as it's reality.
Good morning, Seth.
And by the way, there are quite a few people trying to sidetrack me. And yeah, right, is all I can say. Once you learn statement analysis, you will realize the intent of a person within the first line of a message that they send to you. So, yeah, I am not wasting time that I don't have to, simply because in time things become more and more obvious. So she said they go to jail, so I don't care what she was gonna say. You see, when you had the Madeleine McCann case happening, there was an army of people defending the parents, supporting the parents, and they were attacking everybody who even expressed doubt in their very holy, full of holes version of events. One woman actually left her house because she got harassed so much by them, and she went to a hotel and killed herself. It was very extreme how the support for the McCain family.
Very extreme, Mike Dannon says about forcing somebody out of their house to stay in a hotel. Well, we know one unscrupulous PI that did that to one of the neighbors in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. When he's talking about these statements from the McCann case and the behaviors of people supporting the parents, it does ring a lot of familiar notes to what we're dealing with in the Sebastian Rogers case.
The parents, it was out of control. And they said many times on social media, well, Kate said this and Kate said that, but when you looked at the actual statements, the parents never even made the ones that they claimed they had made. You cannot say it for them. You cannot tell me what Katie Proudfoot was going to say. The question was, what should happen to somebody who abducted Sebastian? Something like that. They go to jail, so I don't. Who say? She stopped herself. I listened to it several times to make sure I didn't miss a single whisper, and I did not. I have uploaded it to this channel as well, that video. You can listen to it yourself. They go to jail, so I don't. Chris catches that. Chris Proudfoot, you know, may not be the smartest dude in the world, but guess what? He and her have previously started or have completed working on that script together. I think that this case must be all they're talking about at home. I mean, I don't think Chris is working right now. I don't know if Katie's working. They are everywhere.
This is interesting. I want you guys to pay attention to this. And I think we noticed this way back when. We've noticed what he's about to say right here. I think we've identified this. Many of us have stated this same exact thing. Listen.
They know when they go on these lives, and Chris cannot shut up. He's referencing so many things from other YouTube channels that I'm thinking he must be listening to all of them. He must be listening to the analyses. Maybe he's listening to me right now.
What person, let me ask everybody in the audience, what person has time to listen to everybody's lives and listen to the analysis, but can't pick his big old booty up and go look for their son until 10 months later? Now that everybody's looking at them and it's not going away. Now it's like, oh, well, we need to put on the dog and pony show. It's time for the dog and pony show. Release the footage of us searching. Release the footage of us searching. Cut out the sniffer in chief so nobody knows what we're really doing out here in the woods. So nobody knows what we're really doing out here in the woods. Roll that beautiful bean footage with the in it.
He wants to learn. Chris Proudfoot wants to know what mistakes to avoid, how to cover himself. He catches it that she says, they go to jail, so I don't. He at least realizes she is stuck because now she is off script. Now Katie Proudfoot is completely baffled and lost. And she cuts it off before it gets worse. She's very self-aware by nature. So when she realizes, okay, this is going to end badly, she just aborts it. Mom, Mom is saying she hoped they better go to jail. Mom. Suddenly, Katie Proudfoot is mom.
So mom is saying she hopes they better go to jail. I have better go to jail.
Mom would not hurt her baby, right? Mom. Suddenly the woman who never stood in the way of him abusing Sebastian is Mom. That is another pattern of her. I've stated before in my analysis that in the very beginning, in the first part of the last statement I have examined, she told us they had a really good date together, and I believe it. Just her and Sebastian. 6 times we in 2 or 3 sentences, right? Or 4 sentences maybe. 6 times we, 1 times our, 1 time together. In the second part, the longer part, not one we. It was either I or he. There was complete separation. You can see how tense she was. Or you know what, let me say it like this. It appears to me she was quite tense in the Texas Roadhouse video. I can guarantee you, if we're watching a video from early,
let's look at that video real quick. We're gonna do a little intro video here. It's gonna cut me off, but it's this one right here. Let's look and see if we see. Now we're not watching all of the stuff, but just observe the behavior. Hey guys, we have a breaking new update. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I've been covering the case of Sebastian Rogers since March 2024, shortly after the incident happened. AtNight Intelligence Agency has come in along with Dog the Bounty Hunter, who they partner with on several different cases. Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from inside his locked home on February 26 around 12 midnight to 6 a.m., according to his mother. New images and videos are being released about this case now. Stay tuned. Look at the behaviors. Look at the behaviors. We're going to be focusing on the behaviors here. I can't stop it or fast forward it because of the way it's set up with the system. Breaking new video is being released. Check this out. Okay, let's look.
Sebastian Rogers and his mother, Katie Proudfoot.
I guess, Tenn would be
Texas Roadhouse Grill on February 25th, 2024 at 6 o'clock at night, appearing to be eating dinner and chatting amongst each other. What you notice is Katie...
Could it be tense? Could it be tension? Could it be tension? You know, I guess I never looked at it that way, but we know that they were stiff as a board. Okay. Andrea, I did get your email. I don't present stuff until I look through it. Okay. So I'm sorry that nobody is paying attention to you. I'm trying to run a show here. And I do appreciate the emails, and I will go through it and I will analyze it. And if it's something that needs to come up on my show, I'll bring it up on my show. I really do appreciate everything that you do. But just know I am running a show. Okay. Thanks so much. I appreciate it, love.
Earlier in the day, when maybe they had lunch somewhere else, they're probably laughing, joking, probably a very different picture. She is telling us in her own language that as evening approached, things already changed. Her mind was on Chris, who had set her an ultimatum. Chris told her, it's me or him. She has a pattern of allowing Chris to completely go in between them. There was harmony, but the moment Chris comes up, Chris could beat Sebastian, he could do anything. He can, to this day, trash Sebastian on any YouTube live, on any podcast. Katie Proudfoot is never going to interrupt him.
Isn't that funny? And another behavior that we've noticed throughout this entire interview process and stuff like that is that he has said horrible things. Actually, as a matter of fact, they both have. You know, we hear when people are missing, or, you know, in other cases, what's a good a good case? I know we went over one, I can't remember, but I digress. You hear other parents talking about all the good things of their children, not all the problems that they've had, right? So when a child is missing, typically you get a parent saying, you know, my child was always so happy. They were the kindest person in the world. You never hear about them. Well, you know, they ran away, 5 years ago, or they got themselves into a little hot water at school over, a disagreement with another. You never hear them talk about all the bad. The only time you ever hear that is when they know their child is safe. But when their child is missing, they are a freaking angel, no matter how many problems you've had in them. Every parent focuses on the good of their child because that's all they think about, because that's what they miss. They miss that child. They miss that memory. They miss the beauty that their child and the happiness that their child brings with them and to them. You don't hear, normal parents saying, well, she was a problem child at school. She got herself into hot water all the time. She didn't like going to the bathroom whenever she was going to. She got in people's personal space. What parent says that about their kid when they're missing? We hear from other parents about their kid. My child was the happiest, willing to do anything to help anybody else, had a love of animals, a love of art, brightened our world. Just the jokester of the family, was the person that was the glue that held the family together. You just hear all these great, great, great things about the missing person. And here we've got this poor boy's, all of his personal information, from the restroom to personal space to lying to, he wasn't in trouble this week. What boy gets in trouble that sits home all the time? Like, I'm still waiting. How many, like we most parents hope to have a child that doesn't get into mischief, that doesn't, steal mommy and daddy's car like Bullhorn Betty. Okay. In the middle of the night, it's not sneaking out the window to go hang out with their friends and drink a 40. Give me a second. It's my lawn guy. All right, the yard's mowed. Love it. Love it. So I have a problem with that, and he's picked up on a key issue for a lot of us. How can a mom sit next to a man that's talking so negatively about their missing child, all the while of not helping search, all the while of, getting with these unscrupulous people that are just the dirt of this. I mean, I think they're the lava under the dirt, right? They're just they're as low can get. They're the trash of society here on these channels.
He can say the most vile things about Sebastian.
Yep.
Her missing son, mom's missing son. Katie Proudfoot will not say one single thing. It does not matter. He can joke about Sebastian with the other people, I want to say words that's, yeah, I shouldn't say these kind of words. I should be I am very objective, but I can tell you, this is an overload of red flags everywhere. Mom is saying she hoped they better. No, she's not saying that. She didn't say that. You are saying that for her, because you realize she is stuck. Everybody's waiting for her to finish her sentence, but she won't. Then Chris Proudfoot does his little speech that I have previously brought to your attention, that I have analyzed actually. And then the guy says, well, they should be, whoever did this should be passed around jail like a honey bun. And Chris Proudfoot said, well, I mean, I have my own personal opinion about that or something.
Wow, got a little offensive about being passed around. Interesting.
He feels challenged. His manhood feels challenged by that comment. Let me say it like that. I don't know if I mentioned that in the video, but I mentioned it several times on Twitter.
Why would somebody be hypersensitive to what's being done to a person that removed a child from a home? Why would any parent have a problem with that thought? Like, I have a thought of hanging them by their toenails, right? Toenails are very sensitive, have a lot of nerve endings in it. I'd like to hang some people from their toenails, right? But they and I don't have a problem with that. You know, we talk about DP on this channel. Don't have a problem with that. Unless I did something wrong and I'm facing it, right? Then all of a sudden I probably wouldn't want that, right? But I'm not facing DP, right? So I think DP are for the worst of the worst. That is the ultimate sentencing you can give for a crime. But being passed around in a jail seems to have some type effect on CP. Makes you wonder why. Was he envisioning himself there? And if so, why would he be doing that if he's so innocent?
On X. So what happens then? And that is the interesting part. You see, when people cut themselves off and they're finished, we don't finish anything for them. We don't do that. But of course, we now anticipate them saying something. And we have to be very sensitive to the patterns the person has. If there are any changes. After Chris makes that comment, she says, and I have left out the middle part of it. I didn't think it was that significant. All I have to say, they better go to jail if I find out somebody hurt my baby or something like that when it comes to the middle part. These two parts, I have put them down because that is the significant part. When you listen to that, Katie Proudfoot races through that sentence. All I have to say, they better go to jail.
Interesting. The speed that it said. Interesting. Never thought about that before.
Before I get my hands on them, if I find out they hurt my baby or something like that. There's not one there is no pause for thinking. That is Katie Proudfoot's pattern whenever she is scripted.
So when she is scripted, there's no ums, there's no hesitation. And the reason why this is important is because Mike Damon had done another analysis, and there was the whole board. He had the whole whiteboard filled with stuff, and it was you know, there was a lot of ums in there. And he's saying that this had no ums. It was speeded through as if it was scripted, instead of them having to speak it on, you know, reliability of their brain, where they're thinking of what's going on. Their minds are a little slow. They're in the situation that they've never been in before. They're not thinking clearly. And so there's a lot of hesitation, ums. Not that I agree that is what is causing those ums. I'm just saying that could be explained. But here he's saying they sped through it, no ums, no hesitation, as if it was scripted and she knew the script.
In the minute or less than a minute between this sentence and this, there she is completely silent. The script develops in her mind. She races through it. She got a sentence straight in her mind. She knows she stepped in a puddle right here. She took over knowing that she is stuck. All. She's gonna get through this very fast. This is all she's gonna have to say. She's telling you, back off. Even though she has all of the guilty knowledge, she is telling people, I don't have to say anything more than that. She doesn't want to answer any further.
So she doesn't want to answer any further. Now we're going to go over to a different one. Hopefully my, okay, good. My audio stayed. We're going to try to bang this one out. This is 10 minutes. And then I'm going to have my final statements and commentary on this show. And then we're not going to be back until later this evening. Now, I have a funny feeling when I get back here, my live's going to be somewhere around between 8 and 9 p.m. tonight. And we'll go over some other stuff at that 8 to 9 p.m. And that's just because I know what time I'm going to be getting back here from my day out. So it's going to be a late time frame. I will get to the poll. I'm not quite ready for that yet. I don't think. How many people have taken the poll? We're up to, let me let it go through. Give me just a second, because when I get on this screen, it stops. It doesn't work whenever. Okay, so we're shy of just under 500 votes. Let's get some more votes in, and we'll go over the second one. And please remind me once this video behind me is done, remind me to check the poll. And I'll try to read some of your questions as well. Thank you
for watching. Chris Proudfoot loves to talk about things he cannot talk about. And it turns out...
Isn't that funny? He just made a valid point. CP wants to talk about things he doesn't want to talk about. He's always asking for the tough questions, and then he's giving you excuses why he can't answer the tough questions. Interesting.
The police said, we never told him that. So who do you believe, the police or Chris Proudfoot? Well, Chris is one of those people that I think just loves to be in a know and outsmart people, which I don't think he can. I don't think he was ever good at it, but it's sort of a challenge for him. And his language indicates that. He loves to be the person teaching. And he will probably be like that for the rest of his life. Chris Proudfoot claims he cannot talk about the medication Sebastian was taking that particular night. He said daily and nightly he took medication, but the question was, what did he take that night? Did Sebastian take anything that may have made him sleepy? And he starts hyper. Because of hyper, he starts saying
Thank you, Terry.
violation. He didn't spell it out. He stopped himself when he began to say it. Nice try. I have stated it before that it is my conviction Katie Proudfoot gave him too much medicine, that he rolled out of bed, probably trying to vomit, because he ate a lot that day and he had toxins in his body from taking too much sleep aid.
Now, I disagree with that statement that he ate a lot that day. We were told that he potentially may have had breakfast and that he had a colossal popcorn, and he didn't eat anything until dinner. So outside of breakfast and dinner, it doesn't sound like he really had anything else in his belly. And let's talk about breakfast. Breakfast was a spaghetti pancake filled with sugar. And anybody that knows anything about the body knows that if you feed somebody sugar first thing in the morning, they're going to be very hungry in just a few hours, because that's what sugar does. It makes you crave food. That's why if you want to lose weight, cutting sugar and things that break down in sugar is the best thing you can do, because then you're not craving so much food. The sugar makes you crave food later. That's why when you go to McDonald's and you have a really fattening, huge meal, a couple hours later, you're hungry. And you just ate a quarter pounder, double quarter pounder with bacon and a whole French fry and a large Coke. Yet 2 hours later, you're starving. It's because the French fries are filled with sugar. The bread is filled with sugar. The preservatives, the soda. So I don't know if I necessarily agree, but I just, even though I don't agree with his total assessment, I agree with a lot of it, right? And we can do that. We can listen to this, take away the stuff that goes for the stuff, need protein, exactly, that goes to the stuff that we need. We can take away stuff from this. The theory and opinion, though, may differ from person to person. So, for example, Mike Damon's theory is that based on his analysis, he believes this child was medicated and fell out of the bed, explaining the thud or the thump. Me, on the other hand, I don't believe that, because I just feel some type of way. We'll leave it at that.
I do think Katie was alone with Sebastian.
I agree with that. I also believe that when this day started, she was in that house alone with him. When the day ended, she was at the house alone with him.
That moment at 10 p.m. when she heard the thud. We also had huge emphasis on nothing being missing from the house. His shoes are still there. I am not going to get too much into what I saw on the video, the enhanced video. And I had this video for quite some time, but there didn't see much interest in it. So at the time, there was a lot of misinformation and disinformation floating around, as there is still. So I put it on the back burner. But nonetheless, if what the people that seem to be in the know, in terms of they have been very good at investigating cases, the ones that I know, what they are describing, they are seeing, and I'm not disagreeing with it, everything that has been sensitive in Chris Proudfoot's and Katie Proudfoot's languages aligns. When old statements and the analyses thereof.
This is Mike Damon. He is from X. He is a statement analysis as well. So he's going over the statements and the analysis of those statements. The only other person that I know that does stuff like this is the deception detective. But the deception detective has it broke down into like categories and shows you categories. He's showing you what he's seeing. He's going over the specific statements and explaining why these statements may or may not hold water, or what his opinion of those statements are based on his knowledge of statement analysis. Hopefully that clarifies for those that are coming in.
A lie with no evidence. It is one of the best things that can really happen. I like the two statements, when two statements say the same thing. I like it when we can check ourselves, because in reality, we need to always look for ways to try to prove ourselves wrong. One of the things that I always like to do is I try to prove my own analyses and my own results wrong. I am always looking for the what ifs. I'm looking for the loopholes. I'm looking for anything that also could have been. But I am also putting everything together and look for the common denominators. I look for the direction everything points towards. Nothing is missing, right? Did he mention shoes? Yes. What about house shoes? And what about socks?
I'm sorry. I don't know that Sebastian has these things called house shoes at that house, because he doesn't really go out of that particular house. But I would also be one that is a shoe. Okay, a flip-flop, a slide, those are shoes. So when no shoes are missing, I'm even incorporating house shoes in that, because that's a shoe. House shoe, house slipper, it's a shoe. Now, the one thing that they didn't, in my opinion, answer was the socks. Was he in socks? And that has never been answered in the year that we've been on this case. Was he accustomed to wearing socks when he took his shoes off? Probably would be more of the appropriate question to ask. But nobody's ever asked it.
Few think to have seen in the enhanced footage.
Hey, Sasha.
Something would be dangling from his foot. Again, I am throwing this out there. I am not confirming or denying. What is missing? Something is, the emphasis on nothing being missing and him not going out with his shoes. That is a sensitive area. What was he wearing? What is missing?
And you know what? I'm sorry, but they're saying nothing is missing. My problem with all of this of why we are sitting here a year later and we're all completely confused as to what shirt he's wearing. I would presume after this long, there would have been an inventory. I can tell you that if I was living with my mother and I disappeared and my mom could not remember what stinking shirt I went to bed in, she would tear the whole room apart and count every single piece of article of clothing until she figured exactly what I was wearing. And still, we are in this state of confusion with something as simple as what this child was wearing when he went to bed and left the home, because remember, the mom and stepdad said he walked out of the home. So what did he walk out of the home in? It seems like they are so specific and exact on the types of graphics that are on a shirt, but still to this day can't figure out what shirt is missing from that boy's home. And trust me, he only has 2 pairs of shoes. So I can only imagine he probably doesn't have that many clothes either. He probably likes the same shirts, likes the same pants. He's autistic, so it's not like I'm criticizing the amount of clothing he has or the amount of shoes that he has, because I understand that autism can make you very specific on certain shirts, the way something feels on your skin, right? So it may be that he doesn't like any other clothes but the clothes he has. But I have to think that if he's that way with his shoes and his boots, he's probably that way with his underwear, his socks, his breeches, and his shirts. So I just have to reasonably, now again, I've never seen this child's closet. I don't know how many clothes he has. I could be way off base on this. This is just an opinion based on the number of shoes he has, okay? I'm basing it that if he only has 2 pairs of shoes, okay, you see what I'm saying? He must not have that many clothes. So to me, I mean, I've got, for example, I'm a female. Let me give you an idea of what I mean by too many clothes, okay? I'm not saying he's got 3 outfits and that's all he has. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying for me, I'm a female. I literally have at least minimum 100 pair of flip-flops, okay? Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but not too much, okay? I've got clothes in 2 closets in my room. I've got an entire dresser filled with clothes. I have a bureau, a chest, not even a chest of drawers, a bureau, one that opens and has 2 drawers on the bottom, completely filled with clothes. I have 2 end tables in my bedroom, completely filled with clothes. You see, you get this? I got a lot of clothes. I've got things from motorcycle clothes to my a political gear to my stuff that I wear for my, true crime stuff, to very nice clothes, to, formal wear. I've got a variety of outfits that I could wear. I can slip in a dress or put leggings on and go out in the woods. You see what I'm saying? I've got a lot of clothes. So what I'm trying to say is I doubt that a 15-year-old autistic boy has that many clothes. It should be easily manageable to identify with specificity what this child left that house in. With specificity. Remember, this is the last time Katie saw her son. And you mean after an entire year, you can't remember the last shirt you saw your son in? That does not ring true in my brain cell. It just doesn't. I don't believe it.
That is what is important. Why, when somebody puts too much emphasis on something, then we need to look what it is that we need to look at. When somebody tells you you cannot look at an area, then it is especially important.
Exactly. Because we've been told, don't look at the family. You're not welcome. You can search anywhere you want to search for Sebastian, but you can't search the last known place he was. You can search for him, but you can't search for him.
Look, even when it comes to censorship, there was a video making around about, I don't want to get into details what it was about. It was quite a while back. And it was something that I dismissed, actually. I said, no, this is too far-fetched. But then Facebook removed it. And the way it was done was out of the blue. And it caused me to look deeper into it. And I realized there is something there.
It might have been the email about the cousin. It could very well have been that post about the cousin, because I know when I talked to Tim Bailey, he had me remove it from my Facebook group.
The custody battle with Faith, there are so many things he cannot talk about. His quick claim that he wouldn't let his daughter around Sebastian. Really? I mean, can you get into more details? Because apparently there are people who believe there was a very significant incident between you and a stepsister. Something causing all of Terry Bowersox's children to be out of his life? No, of course, this is just a rumor, right? Don't pay attention to that. Cameras in the home. Why were they not working? Why was nothing working? Different reports about lights. Which lights were on? Why is this so important to him? You see, and then we have the timeline where exactly he was. There were all this. It is a 3-hour ride from Memphis to Hendersonville. He also had other family there, closer in this area. When was the last time he seen any of them? What is he doing on his weekends over there? Has he seen them? But was he not in his own home? We don't know. There are many speculations. Same like the speculation I mentioned when I asked, why are all of Terry Bowersox's children unwilling to have any contact with him? Terry Bowersox Jr. said Chris Proudfoot is a piece of trash.
The whole family is.
And he said he's very capable of hurting children, which we know. It doesn't mean he killed Sebastian. You see, a lot of time has been spent on Chris Proudfoot. I am spending the time on certain statements that Katie should have made, because Katie was there. Katie was the one who heard the thud. Chris Proudfoot, I don't think he was there. Nothing in their language indicates that he was. I'm not talking about afterwards. I'm talking about before.
Amen.
Everything leading up to Sebastian being missing.
All right. So thank you, Mike Damon. I hope at least we were able to give you some airtime and hopefully increase the viewership. I think he has a lot of great stuff. And when I saw only 200 views, we needed to get that up. So now it is poll time. And this is for my audience. I tried to minimize this as much as humanly possible, but we have engaged our audience in a while. So I try to be very pointed and specific, but also trying to be sensitive to the topic. What do you think happened to Sebastian? It was custodial interference, abduction, walk away, or something far worse. According to our audience, 7% of folks believe he was abducted. 12% believe he truly walked out. 20% of our audience believe that this is a custodial interference, and 60% of our audience feels something far worse may have happened. That is our poll, and our poll has been leading these assessments since basically the beginning of the case. So I guess a lot of people that believe the way that they believed previously still are believing the way that they believe even all these months later. Please don't forget, one of the worst type of gatherings we ever have in any of these cases is a horrible date known as their 1-year milestone. This is not something that's enjoyable to go to, even though we try our best to make it upbeat. It's never where you want to be at a year. This is coming up on March 1st in Hendersonville. It is going to be, in my opinion, one of the largest gatherings for prayer we've had. If you are going to be coming out to Hendersonville to support Sebastian and to help pray, everyone is welcome. Everyone. If you have a problem with anybody, if you cannot check it at the church doors, don't come in. It's just that simple. This is not about you. This is not about me. This is not about petty nonsense. This is about a child that walked into his house and never walked out. This is about a 16-year-old boy that has been fighting since the day he was born to be here. He is a bright child, happy, loves life, and loves his dad. And we are going to be here to lift up his father and those that cared for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And we're going to put our hands on them. And we're going to pray. And we're going to pray over this situation. And we're going to pray that God moves mountains. It's in Hendersonville. It is at the Church of Life, I believe. Let me make sure I've got all of my info. Give me just a second. Okay. Yeah, Celebration of Life Church. It's going to be March 1st at 2 p.m. Celebration of Life Church in Hendersonville, Tennessee, off Retreat Road. Anybody that would love to pray over this situation and pray over Sebastian, you are all invited. It's all hands on deck. Again, even the people that I don't agree with or anything, if they're there for the good, for the betterment of Sebastian, I check my stuff at the door, right? I check my stuff at the door. If I can check my stuff at the door, certainly every other person can check their stuff at the door, right? So we are here not for ourselves. We are here for this child behind me. If you are also here for this child behind me, I hope to see you March 1st. We're going to be praying. We're going to be giving good vibes, positive vibes out into the universe. And we are going to continue our fight to bring Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home and to bring him home safely. He has not been found. Everything is still on the table. But we need to find him. We need to find him. And for those that are coming, and since you're already there, if you guys want to do a search party, plan an extra day. And we will go out on the 2nd. And we will come together for the betterment of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And we will find some places to search for him. If not, we can always do sign waving. We can always do sign postings. We can do something for this child to let people know we have not forgotten this child. We will not let this case go until he is brought home and brought home safely. And by God, if he's not brought home safely, there will be hell to pay, lawfully and legally. You cannot run away from this. We will not let anybody run away from this. The people that are responsible will be held accountable no matter what. Just believe there is evidence. We now know that there is evidence, that there is video footage. This is going to be huge and critical in this case. I told you guys from the very beginning that this is going to be a circumstantial case. And what do I mean by that? It's going to be driven by the forensic data, much like the Alec Murdaugh case. The good news is this area of Tennessee has good reception and good cell tower services. In the situation of Summer Wells, we were not that fortunate. Hopkins County is a desolate place that has very limited infrastructure items such as internet. I'm not sure what is wrong with Tennessee, but I can tell you right now, everybody I know is politically working on the state of Tennessee. We are doing our best behind the scenes to advocate for more funding, more responsible spending in the state of Tennessee, and funding their damn police. I am so sick and tired of hearing we have to stop after a week of search because we're broke. That excuse no longer works in our society. We don't care if you got to get a loan out to find our children, find our damn kids. Something's got to give. If you are in Tennessee and you are an advocate of Tennessee, keep pushing for more funding for law enforcement. Nobody needs law enforcement until they need law enforcement. And when they need law enforcement, it costs a pretty penny. We should not be sitting in this situation with every single case we have in Tennessee where our police departments have funding for a week of search and that's it. That is, to me, disgusting and deplorable. If we did that crap here in Florida, the whole damn state would be in an uproar. Why isn't the whole state of Tennessee in an uproar over this? You've got more children per capita missing than half of the large cities in different states. There's a problem in Tennessee that has got to be rectified. And I'm saying that with all true heart from me. It's got to get rectified. Tennessee needs help. We need to be that voice of help for them. You can't keep blaming all of these sheriff's department, all of these, people when it's coming from the top, right? We need to be in the governor's ear. Bill Lee, knock, knock. Welcome to Bullhorn Betty. We need people doing what they can to let their governor know we need more funding. If they're not collecting taxes, enough taxes, or they have wasteful spending, which is most likely the case, it's always wasteful spending. I absolutely believe in the heart of hearts that all these states are collecting enough taxes from their citizens that they should not be in the situation that they're in. Tennessee is the freaking home of country music, for F's sake. And you're telling me you don't have funding to search for a 16-year-old boy but a week? Unexcusable. There's no excuse for that. We're here to help, not just complain. So Tennessee, yep, we have 9.5 sales tax in Tennessee. Mine's only 6.5% with our 0.5% that should go away that never goes away. So we're at 7%. You guys are 2.5% over sales tax than we are here in Florida. And you see how we live here in Florida. We're paying less taxes and have a hell of a lot more benefits. It's wasteful spending and bureaucrats not doing their job. You want change? Be the change. Be the change. I can tell you I'm the change here in my county and in the state of Florida. I've been all over the state of Florida. People know who I am by my first name, not by Bullhorn Betty. People over here on this, hundreds of thousands of people, 500,000 people every single month know me as Bullhorn Betty. I have gotten in trouble for a lot of the things I say, but I say it and I stand on it. Tennessee needs our help. We need to be the change. They need more funding, and we need to bring our kids home, and we need to end this practice of rehoming children without proper background checks and investigation into the household. It's about our children. I don't really care what side of the aisle you're on as long as you're helping our kids. Right? We're the yin and the yang. You hit it on both fronts, guess what? Our kids are going to be making out now, aren't they? When you're hitting it on all fronts, our kids are going to be making out. This is not something that we should be arguing about with political talking points. The bottom line is these places are broke, our children are missing, and they need to be found. Seems like something we can all get on board with. If we just get on common grounds and we stay on those common grounds and we all work for that common ground, you will see how successful we will all be for the betterment of these children across this country. It takes all of us. All of us. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you spending almost 2 hours with me. Buckle up for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be long. I know it's going to be long. I'm hoping and praying that I sleep well, because after 3 hours, I got to tell you, I start losing my steam. But I think that this is going to be one of those interviews we need to sit through for the whole entire thing. So we're going to be here for about a 6-hour live. Also, Carissa in the chat, this is one of her shirts. I run on Coffee and True Crime. Don't forget to hit Clarissa up. If you guys see her in chat, tell her thank you. If you guys like this shirt, please reach out to her and ask her how she can get one of these shirts, or ask how you can get one of these shirts. I love this shirt. I love all the shirts I get. You guys know I'm partial because Sonia does great things and she's one of our mods here, but so does Clarissa. Clarissa does good things too, and she's got some pretty cool graphics. So don't forget, we're here to help each other and raise, we all have small businesses in part, right? So we try to help one another out. If you guys see her, tell her, hey, and buy a shirt, right? Same with Sonia. We got great shirts from Christian shirts all the way down to Bullhorn Betty cusses a lot shirts. All right. Thank you to my beautiful people that are always here and just helps this channel thrive. Melanie, thank you so much. Robin, Outer Banks, you guys know you rock. Thank you guys for your love and support. Thank you so much, Ashley. For the people that received their Bullhorn Betty membership from Robin, Veronica, or Veronica, please don't forget to tell either one of them thank you, whoever you got the gifted membership from. Welcome to this crazy place, this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. You have your admission. You have been admitted. You have been admitted. Stephanie, thank you so much. Sebastian's Army, we will not stop. And thank you for all you do, Betty. Absolutely. And we will not stop. And I think that that's the thing that they underestimate. I think everybody underestimated the power of social media and our tenacity and our pursuit for the truth and transparency in these cases. I don't think they quite understand. There's a lot of people in these small little communities that like to live under a rock. Unfortunately, that's not us, right? We don't live under rocks. We know what we do. We know how to do it. We know how to get these cases out there. We know how to advocate for victims, and we know how to poke the bear, and we do very well at doing that. I am one of these people that likes to be the boil on the ass of our politics, our politicians. I want to make sure when they sit down, it's uncomfortable. I'm that kind of advocate. So that's what we need to be to Bill Lee. I like Bill Lee. Don't get me wrong. I have high regard for Bill Lee. But it's somebody that we need to start pressuring for funding. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous, and it doesn't seem like it's really getting better. Now, with our pursuit in putting them on a platform with a bright light shining right on the state, is it helping? I think it is. I think social media is moving the needle in the state of Tennessee, because let's face it, they have one of the highest per capita of missing children. Not the highest, but definitely a high per capita for such a small state. When you compare Florida and Tennessee, population-wise, don't even compete. Yet they have so many more missing children than we do here in the state of Florida. And let's be honest, the state of Florida is freaking nuts. The state of Florida is freaking nuts. And we're not that crazy. Just to put it in perspective. Hey, Shell Bell from Australia. It's nice to see you from across the pond. Thank you. Thank you for gifting a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, don't forget to tell Shell Bell thank you. Thank you, Love Bug. And Stephanie also donated 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. Welcome to this crazy crew we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Thank you, Love Bug. Welcome to this crazy Insane Asylum. All right, guys, get out of here. Go have a great day. I got to get little bits packed up. I got to use the restroom. I got to get dolled up for mama. No, I'm going there without any makeup on. I ain't doing all that. People just, now that I turned 45 and I just, I'm getting to that middle-aged old lady that don't really give a crap about anybody's feelings. I'm just going to go free. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to be me. Who wants to just be free to be me? Me. So this is what you get. Welcome to the shit show. All right, guys, have a great day. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Until next time, please be safe. But more importantly, say it with me. Kind to one another. All right, rock it out. See you soon. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.